If you clicked on this video, you probably want to know our explanation of why you should probably skip the worldwide download celebration. I'm going to be go ahead and explaining exactly what the banner format will look like in this video, and I'm going to be explaining how the last three worldwide download celebration characters have been outaged or essentially have not have a great lifespan when it comes down to this game. And it's actually very shocking to realize that ever since the sixth anniversary's worldwide download celebration, these characters have not been given a proper time or a proper length of usability when it comes down to the new celebration. And I'm gonna be going ahead. This is the intro. I had to record this afterwards. I'll be letting my old self take care of it and keep you guys with forward. Hope you guys like and subscribe, and let me know if you guys enjoy this type of content. Peace. I'll be breaking down possibly the worldwide download celebration for 2024. I will not be discussing the characters, but rather I'm going to be discussing the banners, what to expect from the characters, and why I possibly don't think that you should probably be summoning, or you should be a bit more careful when it comes to your summons for this banners. Hey everybody, Raz here. Make sure to like and subscribe if you like the content, and let me know if I'm going to be doing a good job. Today I wanted to break down a bit more of just like when it comes to the banner formats and why exactly I'm warning free-to-play players to might have the Saber Stones. And the reason why is because so far, the past 3 years worth of banners for the worldwide download celebrations for characters have a very short time span and compared to like what the usual anniversary like other characters have been released so far. It's something I got closer to worrying about because characters are now starting to get very aged out very fast once a new anniversary for like the eighth or ninth one is coming in. I just want to hear. Let me drop you down like an example right now. Let's go ahead and break down the original characters that released during the 6 years because this is the start of when a lot of the worldwide download celebration characters are starting to become very outpaced whenever a new anniversary got released. So when these guys released during the 6th year of the game, immediately in the next 4 months, immediately Dokkan Red Zone was released, and immediately these characters were completely washed out of the game. They were still usable in the new fights, but it was basically a case where you needed to summon for the new characters in order to actually have them be pretty much viable. And I don't think both characters were even on the leader skill for either of them because I'm pretty sure the tech SSGs and the Phi SS4s only supported, or I think around GT Heroes, Movie Heroes, Power Beyond Super Saiyan, and Fuse Fighter. So they didn't have a team that could run, and these two would build up way too slowly when in regards to the new meta, and were very quickly shifted. And I thought this would be only a one-done case where because of Red Zone, which was very much known to be a very hard power creeped session of the game, they will only stop at this specific worldwide download celebration. And then I was surprised to find out that these two, the Tech Super Saiyan Carnival Goku, and then or Birdku, and then Cooler, these two characters were also uh, pretty much outpaced from the game. Tech Carnival Goku, his was more so due to the fact that they released the GT Spirit Bomb Goku and Vegeta, and he wasn't that I guess usable when it in regards to the Omega fight or the Fusion Zamasu fight, because for them they immediately got power crept due to the AOE's attacking before they could super, and most of these characters got their defense when they could be able to be super. Cooler especially was taking way too much damage, and you saw that there was a I forget which place. There's a specific showcase of a character where Cooler's team was just getting completely fodderized, and you'd think that, and this was another instance of the characters who released during Worldwide Download Celebration being good for their specific 4 month period, and then completely getting fodderized. Whereas for the GT, well, Spirit Bomb and the Majin Buu Spirit Bomb characters, they were still pretty usable for the first 6 months of the game before they got into the Worldwide Download Celebration for these characters. No, Worldwide Celebration before the 2023 characters. So, and that kind of gives you a good more value for the anniversary characters compared to the worldwide celebration. So far, the worldwide celebration characters have actually gotten lower quality wise when it comes to actually being usable for a longer time. It's even more true for the part two characters because this character wasn't completely fodderized during its own release. Like this guy was this guy in contention for like probably like the worst Dokkan Fest LR at the time, right? Like the worst release at that moment until we get to well the Blue Boys. But we can talk about the Blue Boys like pretty soon. And then LML Cooler was good for the instance he was, but he didn't have enough defense. He didn't have any like other defensive properties, and he was completely fodderized too once we got into the AOE section before he could be tanking hits and also having his only soul revive on himself rather than for anyone else. And these characters both got power crept extremely fast. They weren't even in like the top like 5 or 8 of themselves for characters. And this is something I'm starting to notice. Like, okay, for a second worldwide download celebration, the characters were also completely neutralized, like 4 months into their own release. So that point you would be like, okay, it's maybe just, first time, shame on you, second time, shame on me. And then you cut it to third download celebration where these characters started to suck even more. And it's not because these two weren't bad on their release. These both were good for the two using the Masu meta. But then when you got into ninth anniversary, this guy no longer. This guy was always contentious because he could never be transformed and he was always bad. And I remember that people were not. Well, at least the bigger content creators were not discussing really well like why exactly he was being flawed at the time until once his banners discounts really left, and then they started discussing like, okay, this banner guy was trash, and a lot of people kind of agree with that. So this was a case of where people were super hyped for it and then realized that he was bad later on, and this is one of the hyper release because this is Vegeta, like this is like a really good character. But the problem is that you almost never get to see him most of the time, and then you got to really just experience like a bad slot one character who only had like guard for the first like 3 turns that he existed. And then with Fusion Zamasu, he's really good. He could tank the first turn of the fight, usually good at the start of the turn. But then the problem was that he's on a team, like the most relevant team that he's on right now that you try to run him on is usually the Super Bosses team. And the Super Bosses team already has 3 different domains fighting each other with SSJ Broly, Physical Rose. Like, this character is essentially completely neutralized by the fact that his role is already being taken over by this, and you can't ever exchange into Infinite Zamasu as a character, and that completely like destroys his character's viability. I was hoping to see that they actually did the domain update for this year, but they did not actually when it comes to actually being able to override each other's domain and cancel one for another. And that completely sucks because then these two characters were immediately fodderized by the new power creep and immediately go down. So this was a third instance in a row, like not even a third instance, technically. This would be like one, two, three, fourth character rounds where the characters that released during what should be the celebration between both the global and Japan is now completely just thrown away once the anniversary comes for Japan, which is completely sucks. Luckily, this is going to change for the sync, but I'm thinking from now on forward that is there ever a good instance where the worldwide download celebration characters are going to be great for the lifespan that they need to be? Like, my assumption for them would be like they should stay good until like probably Golden Week. That's my assumption. It's like I think a unit should have at least an average of 6 months of like relevant usability in the game, and these guys barely get around 3 months before they get fodderized. Same thing with Future Trunks, and then with Sword of Hope Trunks. Less with Future Gohan because he's runnable on the team. But once all the ninth anniversary power creep came into play, his team essentially gets fodderized. Like, you're not running really any characters additionally on Future Saga that was good altogether to keep up with it, unless you were running like all some of the sub EZAs who were run on there. But that's also another issue with the fact that a lot of 2023 release was based on the fact that they were very category and very category based restrictions, such as like the LR gods here having the realm of god only 50% and in fact effective against all types. If they had this naturally, they probably would be a bit more better defensive wise, I assume. Probably, but they would still wouldn't be as effective in ninth anniversary content, which is weird because from what we've seen of Omatsu's team when they plan the anniversaries and the worldwide download expression, they tend to plan stuff for 8 months ahead of the schedule. So you would think that units should be planned for 8 months ahead of content and be able to be still usable in that 8 month span if they're planning 8 months ahead already from whichever point they're starting from. But that's not really how the case. Like Sword of Hope Trunks himself was also getting fodderized during the what was it during like Gogeta's fight, during sort of Hope Trunks' fight. Like he's very much a unit that's very reliant on luck that you need to have, and also just isn't that designed well when it comes down to like the fights. Like these actually pretty much got power crept up to heaven when it comes to like their abilities. And this is why I'm trying to warn people about the is that there could be a possibility that the worldwide download suppression for this upcoming month is gonna be the same. It might be a case where you might get like a hype character, maybe possibly like GT Goku, a new GT SSJ4, or probably like a re-release of like the Broly or whichever they're planning for this worldwide download celebration. There's a good chance or the possibility that the units that you might be enjoying are like very hype might be units that have not a good usability or lifespan if they make the 10th anniversary have an even bigger power creep. my assumption is that with the 10th anniversary, that you're going to try to make the content extremely harder. You're going to make it so that the new characters on 10th anniversary would be extremely busted compared to the ninth anniversary, and that you would pretty much make it the extreme incentive to actually come on and summon for the game. And that's going to make it a lot harder if the worldwide download celebration characters who come during the ninth anniversary meta and immediately get power crept by the next meta just because they're deciding to like revamp it and the constant increase of power creep. And the reason why, like I said, I'm going back to it, anniversary characters, Tanabata characters, well, not even Tanabata characters because of last year's SSJ4, but like anniversary characters, the Golden Week characters, Pure Saiyan characters that get released on those times have a longer lifespan compared to the worldwide download celebration characters. And that's something that's unreasonably weird because this is supposed to be a bigger celebration. You would think these characters would have a longer lifespan. They should have it. But I don't know. What's your guys' thoughts on how so far the usability has been for this? And if you guys are worried about the possible 2024 worldwide download celebration having characters that might not be really good or not viable. Moving forward on to a more positive topic, let's go ahead and break down what possibly the banners are going to be for the 8th anniversary, for the, not 8th anniversary, the ninth anniversary worldwide download celebration, or 2024 worldwide download celebration. So we know that there's going to be one new character alongside STR character, not STR character, one new featured banner alongside one new LR. That's going to be for Dokkan Fest, another LR Carnival, another LR Carnival, and then like another Dokkan Fest for the part 2, since that's what they've been now switched the format to. So in this case, we know that we're going to get a new character here. We're going to get a feature character. This is going to be either AGL Goku, SSG3 Goku that released during Golden Week, or Majin Buu. This is going to be the Huragan or SSJ3, the STR characters. So that's during the New Year's. We'll know this will be the 8th anniversary characters. This is going to be AGL Vegito or Zamasu. And we know that this is going to be, STR Cooler, which is going to be placed right here. And then these next 3 characters are going to be whichever characters are relevant to the theme of Worldwide Download Celebration. So this depends on this. For if they're going to do the 8th anniversary characters, let me go ahead and pull them up for now. So this right now, so 8th anniversary, they'll be in Joint Forces, and they'll be in the physical area. Let me go ahead and break that down. So right here, if you break them down, they're still good for this meta when it comes to the boss rush and everything, but and this probably is your last chance if they don't return on the 10th anniversary banner before they EZA, because this will be 2023. And as soon as 2026 comes, they'll immediately become EZA-able. And by that time, it will be at the 11th anniversary. So if you don't have a chance of picking up this character, you might want to pick him up right now in case if you want to have dupes or might be having a possibility. But this might be proved difficult since right now we're also going through the fact that Tech UI Goku will release very presumably tomorrow and be a new summon LR character in this case. Going back on it for the other characters, you're going to have basically the new feature character once more for part 2, and it's going to be, in this case, the Golden Week characters for the same thing around here, but it's going to might be just be relevant. For the Carnival banners, might be a little bit more harder to predict, but I think we have a good basis on what we can decide on this. So we know that compared to the Japan one, Japan usually gets the anniversary characters to return on this banner. So in this case, we're probably going to be able to see physical Gogeta, and then also the Gammas coming in return here. So part 1's probably going to have, I assume, Gogeta. Part 1 LR is going to have, Carnival is going to be Gogeta, presumably with the March release statement. I'm forgetting why this one was released. Would this be, oh, this is December. So this is going to be, this is possibly going to be GT Omega Shenron. GT Omega Shenron is going to be in this release stamp. So we're going to have GT Omega Shenron be on this part 1 banner alongside last year's, the 6 months anniversary, 9th anniversary, probably physical Gogeta. We're going to have, oh, actually, I actually think probably the Gamma, not the Gamma, the Ginyu is going to be here. So Ginyu is going to be for global. So that's going to be a global L. Ginyu is going to be here. And then Japan's going to get Gogeta. Then afterwards, we're going to see the 8th, we're going to see Future Gohan or either physical Trunks on this banner. And then we'll probably see, I assume that they're going to keep Metal Cooler or the Tech UI Tech Bird Coup on each of these banners. So this is going to be the case where it's going to be the 7th Worldwide Download Celebration, 2021's Worldwide Download Celebration, 2022's I'm getting confused. 2022's Worldwide Download Celebration, 2023's Worldwide Download Celebration is going to be here, and then they're gonna put either Ginyu for global, and then uh, possibly this will be the character for physical Vegeta, which actually raises the question then for like for the second part too. They may have a chance of releasing actually LR Ultimate Gohan then for this character because one of them is gonna be Omega Shenron and one of them's gonna be Ultimate Gohan going to be released for the next Carnival banner. So you're going to have Carnival banner here for Tech Goku, Physical Trunks, and then possibly Omega Shenron on this banner because then that way you can have the return happen. Because I don't think LR Omega Shenron has returned on Global yet or on JP yet from what I remember as the banners. So this is what's going to be like for format. So it depends on you. So far, I don't think this banner is going to be great besides for like AGL SSJ3 Goku because right now of its current release, then probably STR Hurugan, and then these two. Because this guy's gonna because for the 8th anniversary, you gotta wait 1.5 years for them to release, and then these two characters are probably we don't know when their Ize will happen for these two or for these two because right now they get pretty fodderized right now in the hard content. So I probably would suggest keeping an eye out, seeing what the GT banner is, but I wouldn't not recommend having a banner that only gives you around 3 out of like well, actually probably 4 out of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8 out of like 10 units. Only 4 of them is going to be usable. That's only 40% of the banner that's going to be usable. With actually no, now I think about it, 2 of the units here are probably going to in each Dokkan Fizz banner is going to be an Easy A character alongside each of the Carnival banners. So you're going to have some usability when it comes to like what the technique will be, but I don't think that the banner themselves will carry a lot of value, which is unfortunate at the moment. And that's what my concern is. Mostly this video was here to explain to you guys that just to be careful with your stones, be careful with how you're going to summon, and don't try to get yourself too overwhelmed with the hype because you have to sit there and evaluate on like, are these characters, do you think as a person that these characters would last in 4 to 6 months if we get another power creep like as in the 10th and as in the 9th anniversary? That should be the one of the biggest concerns you have, and you should be looking forward to seeing like that. Alright guys, that's going to be how much I'm going to break down the content. Thank you all for listening so much. If you have a lovely day if you've been listening for this long, and subscribe if you've been listening for this long. I'll try to keep posting with more content on the channel and keep trying to post up. All right. Thanks for listening.